We are now at the semi-final movie. I honestly have not seen this movie since 2018, and before I get any further, let me explain. Back when I first time seen these final two movies announced, as I myself was always interested to see these since I'm a big fan, but however though, I don't want to explain full story, because basically I honestly was in major depression when I lost my mojo when I did not want to see 7 and 8 because it would not be the same without discussing these movies to one of my real life friends. Usually I explain or give out these kinds of news, which though he loves the movies, but he only saw 1 and 2 because mainly I hardly stayed with him at times. But long story short, we had a major fight. But then again, I don't want to give full info about it, but this was back in 2016 during that incident. However though, I did still bought 7 and 8 to be a collector, but it was just not going to be the same without him. And no, we did not get in the fight because of this. It's just personal stuff that's just between me and my friend. So when it was 2018, we both forgive the next after 2 years of being a broken bond. And so I finally began to watch this, and this is actually my second time seeing this movie. The movie opens with another winter season. But what's funny is seeing the title as Fureeze. That's a nice pun to this for freeze. The pups wake up when they saw a squirrel as they begin to chase it down and went all whack-a-mole style the next. Which I'll give them that for how funny that was. The squirrel distracted Runt while he was seeing the weather and tells Stinky and Claudette about it as they went back to tell Winston and Eve about Kate and Humphrey's whereabouts. So Runt tries to look for Marcel and Patty from the high view as they were assuming they flew south for the winter, but later they found them as they were flying on back, but they were having trouble flying due to the weather. And we get a George of the Jungle reference. Marcel and Patty arrive to see Winston and Eve when hearing about Kate and Humphrey's absence to go on a search for them as they go on a journey to find them while in the middle of a snowy weather. Meanwhile, Kate and Humphrey were in the other side of Jasper in the cave while trying to keep warm. Then we get a flashback on training the pups. But at least it's not like the 5th movie where it's a recap from past movies. So Humphrey scares a caribou, but it later called the rest for a stampede as they all took off, which we also see a cameo in the flashback is Lily. Then later, Kate trains the pups until Link and Lyle, both are voiced by Solomon Gardner, has made their return ever since Legend of the Sawtooth Cave, who were in this flashback as they want to hunt and wanted the pups to cancel their hunting. So Kate bites both Link and Lyle's tail as they both ran off retreating, so that way Kate can resume training the pups. Kate and Humphrey discovers the bears coming in the cave as they are hibernating. But surprisingly, it looks like the same bears from the first movie, or could be just a recolor. Meanwhile, back at the other cave where everyone was asleep, Marcel and Patty were talking in their sleep until...
Marcel, I'm sorry about your wing. I had no idea goose tasted so good. Better than the duck I just ate.
I think Florida is a perfect place for an older wolf to live.
Yeah, that was just unexpected on Eve's talking in her sleep and for Winston mentioning Florida, USA in his sleep. So the pups wake up and they sneaked out and decided to go on a search for their parents. The pups found a snowman shape of a bear cub when they thought it was Brent, but they began to finding out a polar bear ate Brent as they were mourning. But later, Agnes arrived looking for Brent, but the snowman was actually Brent covered in snow as he was sleepwalking. So Brent offers to help the pups out to look for Kate and Humphrey. Later on, Kate and Humphrey tries to find a way to sneak out of the cave without being spotted when one of the bears woke up a bit and they went back hiding again until they went back to sleep. The team pups went sliding, but suddenly King and Hench were watching them having fun. Shockingly, King made his return as well since Alpha and Omega 2. And as for Hench, voiced by Sean Gurado, as they both have a plan as they began to charge at the pups with Brent and Agnes as well as they ran away from them as they're being chased. Brent fell in the ice as he is drowning in the ice water. The pups distracted King and Hench. The pups saved Brent from drowning while Agnes used her spines to attack those two as they escaped. Kate and Humphrey stealthily way out of the cave, but suddenly the bear just drags Humphrey like he's a toy to sleep with while the bears are still sleeping. Until later, Humphrey manages to escape with Kate as it went successful. But later, the bears wake up and began to see their paw prints and they began to chase them down. King and Hench meets Link and Lyle and...
Back in sync. Let me think.
Now they get the ba-la-la-la-la part after fist bumping. So King hired them and...
We made it, brother! We're huggers.
They hug each other and them as they are quote-unquote huggers. Meanwhile, at the cave, Marcel, Patty, Eve, and Winston wakes up and they discover the pups are missing. So Marcel and Patty flew out of the cave to go look for them. But it's odd when Eve mentions she had a dream she ate Marcel. Humphrey and Kate found the caribous, but out of nowhere, the bears has caught up to them as they were trapping them by surrounding them. Kate mentions the 3 bears they handled last time, which was during the first movie. The Team Pups hides in the caves where Team King was arriving, and while back at Humphrey and Kate's scene, we see Humphrey is basically standing like a human again, and they began to take on the bears.
Ha! I win! Yeah, you win. So it means you have to go in. Is that what winning means?
Lyle wins on rock, paper, scissors like game to go first to look in the cave to find the Team Pups, but he claims he can't find them, which they assume they have sneaked out. Meanwhile, Kate and Humphrey are lost due to the fog and the weather while they are trying to avoid bears. Then Humphrey discovers the log for log sliding. Brent distracts Team King by pretending there is a bear in the cave by using the shadow to scare them off. Humphrey creates a log sled for him and Kate to escape from the bears, but the bears actually chase them down while they're going down the hill on the sled. Team Pups found them as they're being chased by the bears, so they began to catch up to them.
Okay, who let the dogs out?
Okay, what a pun right there to reference the song. So the Team Pups created a spare log sled while the others are distracting Link and Lyle as it went successful, as they all go on the sled, but Team King are sliding down to chase them down while, coincidentally, Kate and Humphrey are being chased yet.
I'm about to lose my berries.
Wow, he barfed out berries after so many spinnings as he got motion sickness. Then after the chase, both Kate and Humphrey rub each other's noses. Meanwhile, Team Pups are being chased by Team King while the pups are getting the hang of log sliding by learning so fast. Then they caught up to Kate and Humphrey, and then came... Yeah, he gets hit by a train instead of chasing the team pups. So the team pups pops out of the snow as they all reunited, even when they were looking for Kate and Humphrey, as they all group hug each other, then began to head back after the search for them. Later on, Marcel and Patty found them as they crash landed and got stuck in the snow. Suddenly, the howls came out of nowhere as it was Team King as they somehow survived. So Marcel and Patty helps them out, attacking them with golf balls made out of rocks, which this scene, to be honest, was epic. This part makes it feel like it's a quick time event where you press the certain button on the screen at the right time, but if you don't press it on, you'll get a different scene by failing. So King retreats. Humphrey and Kate and the family made it home as they began to set up decorations at the cave. Yeah, this is actually another Christmas movie. I'll be honest, this one was pretty good. It did have moments, even that epic scene I mentioned, though it's shocking to see some of the returning characters that are the antagonists, especially King, but even though we never know anything like whatever happened to Princess. But sadly, we only got a cameo scene for Lily appearing in the flashback scene in this movie. But overall, I am looking forward to see this again for the upcoming Christmas watch list. But now we just have one final movie left. And...
Who's got it?
Oh no, not the final movie. This is Jerry Gun 1230 signing out.